Everyone loves Norway at first. The country feels like a cinematic dream. Breathtaking nature, calm cities, and a sense of order and safety. Salaries seem high, life feels organized, and happiness appears everywhere. For newcomers, it's a powerful, intoxicating dream, one that feels entirely real. But something changes. The shift is subtle, a quiet transformation after the excitement fades. The tourist's gaze becomes the resident's perspective, and reality replaces the postcard image. Today, I want to talk honestly about the real Norway, its beauty, its challenges, and the quiet struggles few discuss. Arriving in Norway, everything feels lighter, like a weight is lifted. The streets are spotless, public transport runs on time, and safety is a given. Life moves at a calmer pace, with nature always close by. For many newcomers, it feels like they've finally arrived in a place where life just makes sense. In Norway, work-life balance isn't just a buzzword, it's a way of life. Offices empty by 4 and weekends are truly your own. People respect privacy and personal space, making social interactions calm and direct. Nature is always close, offering a peaceful escape and reinforcing a sense of well-being. In the beginning, everything feels possible. The language barrier seems small, loneliness is just a phase, and even high prices feel justified by Norway's quality of life. You believe friendships and fluency are just around the corner, but as the honeymoon fades, reality sets in, revealing a side of Norway you never expected. In Norway, winter's true challenge isn't just the cold, it's the unrelenting darkness. Days grow short, the sun barely rises, and darkness settles in for months. At first, it feels cozy, koselig, as Norwegians say. But soon, the lack of sunlight weighs heavy, draining energy and spirit. The darkness becomes a test, magnifying every challenge and revealing a starker reality beneath the magic. In Norway, people are polite and helpful, but there's a quiet distance in daily life. Social circles form early and are hard to join. Small talk is rare, and making friends takes time. Many newcomers feel alone, surrounded by people, but separated by invisible walls of etiquette. It's a subtle, persistent challenge for expats. Just as social circles feel closed, the Norwegian language itself slowly reveals itself as another formidable wall. During the honeymoon phase, it's easy to believe that English is enough. So many Norwegians, especially in the cities and in professional environments, speak English with near-perfect fluency. You can order coffee, open a bank account, and even have deep conversations without knowing a word of Norwegian. This convenience is, honestly, a double-edged sword. It makes the initial transition incredibly smooth, but it also masks the critical role the Norwegian language plays in true integration. Life doesn't fully open up, socially or culturally, until you can speak the language of the land. The reality is that while you can survive in English, you cannot truly belong. The most meaningful conversations, the inside jokes at the office, the casual banter at a social gathering, and the deeper cultural nuances are all conducted in Norwegian. Without it, you're perpetually a guest, an observer on the sidelines of the real life happening around you. Important information, from community announcements to informal work discussions, will pass you by. You start to realize that your English-speaking interactions, while pleasant, often lack the depth and spontaneity of native-tongue conversations. The social world remains partially locked, and you only have the key to a few of its rooms. Learning Norwegian as an adult is an exhausting endeavor, far more challenging than it first appears. It requires a significant and sustained commitment of time and mental energy, which is pretty difficult to muster when you're also juggling a full-time job, managing household responsibilities, and navigating the complexities of a new country's bureaucracy. Furthermore, the very fact that Norwegians are so proficient in English can paradoxically hinder your progress. Many will politely switch to English the moment they detect your accent, an act intended to be helpful, but one that denies you the crucial opportunity to practice and build confidence in your fledgling language skills. This struggle with the language becomes a constant low-level source of stress and frustration. It's a daily reminder of your outsider status, a barrier that stands between you and the feeling of being truly at home. The initial belief that you would become fluent in a year or two gives way to the sobering reality that it's a long, slow journey with many setbacks. This is often the moment when the idealized vision of a seamless integration begins to crumble, and the feeling of being in between cultures, no longer fully part of your old one but not yet part of the new, becomes a heavy emotional weight. The winter darkness, social distance, and language barrier don't cause a crisis, but slowly erode the excitement of life in Norway. The magic fades, replaced by routine and subtle doubts. You realize the adventure has become a quiet, introspective journey, one where something still feels missing despite the beauty around you. Many arrive in Norway expecting high costs, but the real surprise is how even a generous salary can feel limiting. On paper, you're earning more than ever. Yet, daily life feels constrained. Fun and spontaneity cost more than you'd think. In Norway, earning well doesn't always mean living freely. In Norway, the high cost of living seeps into social life. Meeting friends, joining clubs, or even grabbing coffee all come with a price tag. Spontaneity is rare, and even enjoying nature often means extra costs for transport or gear. Here, friendship and community can feel like things you have to budget for. In Norway, life feels free, yet always on a leash. Choices are weighed, plans are made far ahead, and spontaneity is rare. You trade excitement for stability, and for some, it's a golden cage. Beautiful, safe, but quietly restrictive. Many quietly downgrade their lifestyle in Norway, making subtle changes like packed lunches and brewing coffee at home to cope with high costs. It's a private shift, rarely discussed, but shared by many expats. Some find joy in simplicity, while others feel the loss of a bigger life they once imagined. Living in Norway can feel like being outside the circle, present but never truly part of it. You learn the language, follow the rules, and life is safe and comfortable. Yet there's a quiet sense of not belonging, of missing the vibrant connections and intensity you once knew. It's a good life, but something essential feels absent. Loneliness in Norway is, honestly, a quiet experience. It's not the loud, obvious solitude of having no one to call. It's a more subtle, pervasive form of isolation that can exist even when you're surrounded by people. You can have colleagues you talk to every day, neighbors you greet politely, and a calendar with the occasional social event. Yet, you can go for days or even weeks without having a truly meaningful conversation. The kind that goes beyond surface-level topics and touches upon your real thoughts, fears, and joys. And what's most striking is that in the Norwegian context, no one really thinks that's particularly strange. This quiet loneliness stems from the cultural emphasis on independence and emotional privacy. People are expected to manage their own emotional lives, and there's a reluctance to intrude on others' personal space, both physically and emotionally. This means people are less likely to spontaneously check in on you, to ask probing questions about how you're really doing, or to offer unsolicited support. While this comes from a place of respect, it can leave newcomers feeling, well, invisible. You could be struggling deeply, and unless you explicitly and directly ask for help, it's unlikely anyone would notice or intervene. This can feel incredibly isolating for those used to more interdependent social structures. For some people, though, this environment feels incredibly peaceful. If you're an introvert by nature, or if you find constant social demands draining, the Norwegian way can actually feel like freedom. It's the freedom to be alone without judgment, the freedom from the pressure of social performance, and the freedom to engage with others on your own terms. These individuals often thrive in the quiet spaces that Norwegian culture provides. They build a small, tight-knit circle of friends over time and are perfectly content with a life that prioritizes deep, infrequent connections over broad, constant socializing. For them, the quiet isn't empty, it's full of peace. For others, though, this same quiet feels profoundly isolating. It's a silence that echoes with unspoken thoughts and unshared experiences. The lack of casual, daily connection can make you feel disconnected from humanity itself. You begin to crave the simple, effortless camaraderie you once took for granted. You miss the feeling of being seen and understood without having to explicitly explain yourself. This is the quiet loneliness that many expats in Norway grapple with. It's not about a lack of people, it's about a lack of connection. It's the feeling of being a solitary ship passing others in the night, each on its own steady, separate course. Norway's calm, structured life offers security, but for some it can feel emotionally muted. Displays of strong emotion are rare, moderation is the norm. While this brings peace, it can leave you craving the highs and lows that make life feel vivid. Many expats seek intensity in nature, climbing mountains, skiing, or exploring wild landscapes to feel alive. Others dive into creative projects or travel to more chaotic cities for a dose of energy. This search reveals a need for deeper emotional resonance, something not easily found in Norway's reserved culture. Norwegians find meaning in nature and tradition, but newcomers may feel like outsiders, living a parallel, quieter life. It's a safe, comfortable existence, but sometimes you wonder if you're truly living it to the fullest. After a few years, expats face a pivotal question. Is Norway truly home? You've built a stable life, but wonder if it fulfills your deeper needs. The decision isn't just about pros and cons, it's about identity and happiness. Some adapt, embracing Norway's calm and finding peace in its stability. Others realize they need more social or emotional vibrancy and choose to move on. Leaving isn't failure, it's self-knowledge. Happiness isn't one size fits all, and the right country for one may not be right for another. The real challenge is being honest about what you need to thrive. Many people truly thrive in Norway, especially those who value routine and predictability. For them, calm isn't dull, it's deeply peaceful. They appreciate order, reliability, and the freedom that comes from a structured life. Privacy is seen as respect, not isolation, and deep connections are built slowly but meaningfully. The Norwegian social model suits those who prefer quality over quantity in relationships. Joy is found in simple pleasures: a quiet walk, a well-organized home, a familiar hobby. The structure others find restrictive is their foundation for happiness. For these individuals, Norway's balance and moderation are a perfect match. Independence and self-reliance are key traits for those who flourish in Norway. They're comfortable alone, finding fulfillment in hobbies and personal projects. Emotional stability comes from within, not from constant social interaction. The reserved culture aligns with their preference for autonomy and personal responsibility. They navigate systems patiently, seeing order as empowering rather than frustrating. Their ambition is holistic, a life of quality, safety, and balance. For them, Norway's welfare state and respect for autonomy are the ultimate prize. Their independent spirit prospers in this environment, free from external pressures. Those most at home in Norway are deeply connected to nature. For them, the outdoors isn't just scenery, it's essential to their well-being. The concept of is their way of life, not just a pastime. Emotional intensity is found in wild landscapes, not social scenes. Norway's culture and work-life balance support their passion for the outdoors. Friendships are forged on trails and mountains, rooted in shared experiences. They learn the language to connect with the land's stories. For these souls, Norway is a spiritual home where they truly belong. Some struggle in Norway, not from weakness, but from a mismatch of energy and pace. If you crave constant stimulation and rapid change, Norway's calm can feel stifling. The predictability that comforts some can feel like a cage to others. Social life is quieter, and career progression is steady, not fast-tracked. For those wired for speed and excitement, this stability can feel like stagnation. The real issue is a dissonance between your internal rhythm and Norway's measured pace. Many leave not for lack of quality, but because their spirit needs a different tempo. It's about finding the right ecosystem for your unique energy. For the socially dependent soul, Norway's reserved culture can feel isolating. If you crave quick, deep connections, you may find yourself on the periphery, longing for belonging. The slow-building trust and emotional reserve can leave you feeling invisible, unsupported, and hungry for connection. Many move to Norway for the money, but without embracing the culture, life feels transactional and isolating. The winters feel like a price, not an experience. The social culture, a barrier. In the end, without cultural buy-in, the high salary isn't enough, and many simply leave. Norway isn't a perfect dream or a cold nightmare. It's a place of contrasts, stunning nature, high salaries, but also high costs and quiet routines. Living here means discovering what you truly value: adventure or security, crowds or solitude. Norway holds up a mirror asking, is this home or a lesson? If you can understand this fundamental truth before you pack your bags and book your flight, you position yourself to make better decisions and ultimately to have fewer regrets. Moving to Norway, chasing an incomplete dream, is a recipe for disappointment. It sets you up to feel betrayed when the reality does not match the fantasy, when the winter darkness feels heavier than you expected, or when the social connections do not form as easily as you had hoped. You end up judging the country against a fictional standard it can never meet, leading to frustration and a sense that something has gone wrong, when in fact, you are simply experiencing the authentic version of the country. This channel and this conversation exists to show you the full picture. It is not meant to scare you away or to diminish the incredible qualities that make Norway so appealing. The goal is to replace the idealized image with a more realistic and three-dimensional understanding. It is about adding the chapters that are often missing from the story, of the chapters about the quiet loneliness, the emotional adjustment, the financial realities, and the deep importance of cultural alignment. Knowledge is power, and in the context of a life-changing decision like moving to a new country, a realistic perspective is the most powerful tool you can have. If you are thinking about moving to Norway, or if you are already living here and find yourself questioning things, I encourage you to subscribe and continue exploring these topics with us. Our community is a space for honest conversations, for sharing both the beautiful moments and the difficult ones. It is a place to understand that your struggles are not unique and that your questions are valid. By engaging with a more complete narrative, you can better prepare yourself for the journey, manage your expectations, and find your own path to a fulfilling life, whether that is in Norway or somewhere else. Because in the end, understanding reality is always better than chasing an image. An image is fragile and easily shattered, but reality, in all its complexity, is something you can work with. It is something you can adapt to, learn from, and ultimately build a strong and authentic life upon. Whether Norway becomes your forever home or a significant chapter in your life's story, approaching it with open eyes and an informed heart will ensure that your experience is a meaningful one, free from the shadow of a broken dream.